Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Jain. I'm getting some queries related to the integration. So before we start the integration, let's understand the concept of REST. So REST is representational state transfer. In this session, we will understand what is REST and why do we need REST. Then we'll go to the REST architecture and how exactly it's working. Then we'll see how we can apply the REST principles in our design processes. And then REST API headers and response codes. And then in last, we'll see a demo with one of the API. That's a ServiceNow. So in integration, we have heard the REST and SOAP. These are the two basic architectural styles we use. So REST is the representational state transfer. What is the representational state transfer is? It's an architectural style or a design pattern for the APIs that helps to combine all objects which are requested and then it sends it as a response. So why do we say it as a representational state transfer? So whenever we are requesting something to the server creates an object of it and it sends the existing state of the resources in terms of a response. So when we say the resources, these are the resources which can be document, image, or the collection of other resources. It can be the non-virtual objects also. You can see we have one web client. Let's say we have one Paytm application which is requesting some of the resources related to the food item to the server, and it says we want to see the WAFs. Now there are two types of responses we can receive it. One is in XML format, other one is a JSON format. So JSON format is more hierarchical, more representational. Okay, so that's why we use JSON in REST and XML mostly in the SOAP techniques. So whatever we are requesting, so if we are requesting the Belgian WAFI, it came up with certain other attributes which we are requesting like name, price and description and calories. So it combined all the required details in one object and send it as a response, and that JSON response, it's again read by the web client and we see it on the screen. Okay, if we go further in the detail, we can see it here. So how exactly it works, how the architecture works. So it says we have one REST client and request is sending to the RESTful API web service, that is HTTP GET, GET, or POST. It can be, these are the different methods which can be used. So it's going to the request handler of that RESTful API, then it further going to the service and database handler. These are the two components we have as part of this RESTful API, where this service and database handler is connecting with the database and fetching the required information or making the changes or updating or deleting. It's performing the action which is requested. So at step 1 is the request. Second one is, you can say, the processing. The third one is more towards the fetching the data and process it, convert to the JSON format. The fourth is it will be prepared in the JSON format, again sent back to the request handler, and this JSON response sent back to the REST client. So the different method we can see right side on the screen which we use in REST. These are also called CRUD. C stands for create, R for read, U for update, D for delete. So for create, we use the command post. So it creates a new record in the database. So if we are creating a new user, we will use the post command. If we are trying to fetch some detail of an existing user or from any other table, that action is called read and we use get command. Okay, so that reads the details from the database. For update, we use put and patch. So most of the integration support the put and some of the APIs also support patch. So the difference between put and patch is put replace or update the complete object, where patch simply update the required information. So in one of the user profile, if I'm trying to just update the address, the patch will only update the address. It will not fetch all other details to modify. Where put will first capture all required object detail, then pick up the address, replace it, and then replace as a whole object. Where patch will only replace the required attribute, and delete will help in deleting the data. So here we can see one example of the JSON response, how it looks like. Okay, there was a request to see the webpiece. Okay, now the database returned two type of webpiece. One is the normal visual webpiece, other one is the strawberry, and it comes as a food object. And these are the different attributes or different type of webpiece clubbed together in the single response, and it is sent back to the REST client. Hope we are clear with the REST architecture and why we say REST. So there are some benefits of the REST because it combined in a single object, so it reduces the bandwidth. Okay. Otherwise, how it will behave if we are requesting something? So the response will come in separate ways. Like it will pull image as a different thing, content as a different thing, database specific details will come up as a different thing. So all these objects will be separated. Okay, it will not be clubbed together as part of the response, and that's where the REST helps to combine all these objects into the single object and then send it in a hierarchical JSON format, which is readable by our web client. Now let's understand how we can apply these REST principles when we are designing the process. So you must have heard the endpoint concept. This is how we will drive it. What all steps we need to find or define if we are designing the integration. Okay, so as a step 1, we need to identify the object model. So it says we need to identify which one is the parent object, what is the top level. Here we are taking an example of a router and the configuration, only two objects. So if we talk about the network component, there might be multiple objects like devices and routers, switches and others. Here we just take two levels, router and the concerning or related configuration. Okay, so first we identify the object model. So what is on parent, what is on child, what we are trying to request. Okay, then we need to create the model URIs. URIs are the unique reference identifiers. Someone wants to connect with the REST API. This is the URI or URL we will be providing to another party, and that will help to connect with our REST point. So this is the place where we create the endpoint. Okay, and these endpoint will be defined like that. So we'll have the core API name. Okay, the namespace followed by the defined component. So if we are talking about the router, so the router ID followed by the configuration ID. So that's how we define the endpoint. So when we go to the demo, we can see how exactly it looks like. Okay, now as a third step, we need to determine the representation, because this representation will be transferred to the client, and that's why we say the REST, representational state transfer. The existing state of the resources will be sent as a representation. As we understood, there might be two types of responses we might get it. One is the XML, other one is the JSON. So it can be the collection of resources, it can be the similar resources. So collection, when we talk about that, it says it can be in two forms, the primary and secondary. Primary collection is based on your parent ID. If I say /router/123, this is the primary collection. Our secondary collection is when we go to the next level, and it says router/the ID of the router/the configuration/the ID of the configuration. Or if we want to directly access only the configuration part, we don't want to follow that parent path, that's a secondary URI, and we can say /configuration/the ID of the configuration. So again, there are certain methods as we talk about like browse or read, create, update, delete. Okay, so for read we use get. So we can write like http get/router, or we can directly point to the secondary configuration /configuration, or if we want to put a limit in it, if the number is very huge in our data set, then we can put certain kind of limiting. So we can put size equals 20, start 0. Okay, we can also put like go through the parent, then parent ID, then configuration ID. So the specific configuration ID parameters or attributes will be read from here. If we need to create any object, so let's say we have one user table, we want to create a new user in it, so we need to use the post. If we are trying to create a new router here, we need to put a post method. If we are trying to put some new configuration, we need to use post and /configuration. So this is how our REST endpoint URL will be created for all these. So we understood like when we are sending to response, there will be a response code also will be generated. So here let's understand the headers and the response codes. REST API headers, we have two type of headers. One is called accept header, other one is called content type. So accept header and the content type header, it depicts what type of content is accepted. Okay, so by design, other than GET, we need all these two type of headers. So when we go through the demo, we'll see there are some other details, data, metadata, all these required details are accepted as part of the header. So what is the limit? What is the cookies? Whether we are maintaining the cookies, cache, the threshold limits, the format, all these information is captured as part of the header. Okay, so get command, that means the read command only requires the accept header, it doesn't need the content type of header, where all other requires the content. You need the content to update it, right? Okay, now if we talk about the response code, there are certain codes you might be able to see when you execute the queries. So 200 stands for the success, 201 stands for record is created, 204 is a success, 400 is a bad request, unauthorized, forbidden, not found, like that. Okay, so in detail you can go through the different blocks we have available on the internet for all these API response codes. So bottom of this screen you can see one URL. So it will have the existing URL followed by the namespace, then followed by the tables, then incident if we are going for the specific databases, table, then table name, and then the queries. So if you have any parameters, it will be in the last as part of the query. So as part of this session, we'll see a quick demo with ServiceNow API, and then we'll see how exactly it looks like. Okay, so this is the ServiceNow application. Okay, I'm going to the REST API Explorer. Here we can see how the CURD methods can be applied. Okay, so it has the namespace which is specific to the ServiceNow. We are using the table API and we are using the latest version. It has two versions, we can use any of them. So this version detail usually comes up as part of the UI. Okay, so let's use the latest one. Okay, so as we see in our presentation, we have like get, post, put, patch, and delete. So you can see at left side here we have all these commands. Okay, so this is the ServiceNow URL. Then we are using the API. Then now the namespace. Then we are using the table API, and then we are using the table name. So we were able to see like parent / the ID. This is how it will look like. So inside the tables we are using the table name, that incident table, and inside that we will use a specific ID. Okay, so let's have a demo related to all these commands. So we are using the incident command. Okay, we are just putting one limit here, and if you see, it's by default it's starting with get. Okay, so let's click on send. So if you see in the request, one URL is got created. Okay, so when we see a REST point, so our REST point will create like this. So it will have the URL followed by API, then /now, then table, and then the table name. Okay, as we are using the get now, so here you can see table, then the table name and the parameters. So as we did put the limit of 1, so it's showing sysparam limit 1. It will show only one record. In headers, you can see the format because REST supports the JSON format, so it's showing JSON format here. Okay, here the response 200 okay means it was able to successfully read the details from the incident table for one record. Okay, it will also capture all required links. So there are multiple things, multiple ways like we can suppress links and other stuff. Let's see the response body. So as we know, like JSON response body will be returned. So you can see it did pick the one record as the limit was set, and the number was INC 00000001. Then we have the link for all reference we had in the incident record. Okay, now there are certain things. So you can see like multiple resources are clubbed into an object and sent as a single response object. Okay, now if I want to extract any specific, if I want to put any filter here, I can pass here. So if I want to see like number equals to, let me see one valid incident number. Okay, so I can request this incident number. So here you can see this incident got fetched. Okay, we got the link and all other required details. Now there are this API does support multiple things. So if I don't want to see the links, I have that exclude reference link. By default it's false. I can make it true. Okay, if I want to see the display value as well as the actual value, I can say all. If I want to see both. So as of now you can see only the display value of them, major incident, parent, okay, the number. Okay, let's have a look. Just right now I'm clicking on send, and you can see like this. The display value is this, value is this. Oh, I also suppressed the link. Okay, so earlier we had a link with resolved by. Here I don't see any link right now. So I can see the value behind this object and the display value of it. So you can use all these API's parameters. If I want to see multiple records, I can use this 10, and I can say the number start with this, and I just remove 6. I just removed the last digit. So number start with this. If this query is correct, it will be executed. Okay, so 200, and I should be able to see top 10 records. Let's have a look. Okay, data is too much. Let me reduce it to a little bit. Let's move this. Keep the link as true. Okay, so this is incident number 1. Now this is followed by the second object. So whatever incidents we are requesting, it will just pick top 10 out of it and we'll show it here. Okay, so that's how the get works. Let's see how post works. So I clicked on the post. Okay, this is the URL, how it should look like, the endpoint, and So I'm creating a record in incident table. Okay, so as part of this, it's asking what all fields you want to set it here. So let's have some short description as a string. So say demo for test tutorial 2. Okay, so say I want to create an incident with all these details only. So send. Okay, so the URI is host and this is the URI. Okay, 201 created. So my record is created. Okay, let's say, is it showing any number to me now? So here you can see when I got with this number, this is the incident number got created. Okay, and if I see the short description, it has this detail. Description is having the detail, urgency and impact is also set. Okay, if I want to see this incident number here in the interface, I can go and check. Okay, so here you can see impact urgency 22. The short description is demo for this, and it's created. Okay, now in this ServiceNow, every incident or every record has one system ID. I'm just copying that so that when I perform the delete operation, it prompts for the specific system ID. Okay, so let's have a look on delete. And before we go to the delete, let's perform modifying the record. Okay, so in modification, also I need the unique identifier. So I'm going to the incident table. I'm putting the system ID which I just copied of. This is the system ID of the record we just created. Okay, and then add a field. I'm going to the short description and saying this is updated short description for demo. Okay, so just send. You can see it got updated here, updated as D for demo in the same record. Okay, now if you see the header is as I said, it contains many details like content type, date, expired, server, cache control, what is the limit, and those things. Okay, now let's perform the delete operation. So delete, let's select the table here, incident. You can have a look, the delete record, it has the delete and then the complete table name and the society. I add the copy of this system ID and I can say this system ID record will be deleted. Send. So 204 no content, it means it's deleted. Response body, no. After deletion, there is nothing returned as a response. Okay, so if I refresh this record, I should not be able to see. Reload. So I reloaded the form, it says record not found because nothing exists with this number now in the database. It got deleted by the REST API. So all these actions what I perform now, it can be triggered from any other application. And that's how we do the integration to have this REST environment. So that's all for now. In our next tutorial, we will understand how we can integrate ServiceNow systems. So we'll integrate one ServiceNow with another instance of ServiceNow. So thank you so much.